Welcome back to Equal Time Soccer. I'm Mark Pravratsky, and I'm excited to be joined by my president, Mel, who is the president of Ravon which I am now a member of. She is a member of the Thunderwall at Minnesota United games and a great customer of mine at the Blackheart. Mel, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I guess this has to be a first for Equal Time because we try to focus on bringing on women's players, women coaches, and if anything, we haven't had a woman supporters group. So, this is a cool thing for us too because that's what makes Ravon exciting. I want to learn a little bit about and let people know your path to getting to being a Ravon member with all the support and commitment you have. How did you first become a soccer fan? Were you a player as a kid, or was there a first team that drew you in? What's your journey into becoming a loon like us now?
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of started at TCO. I just went to a couple matches and it was so exciting. And there was one match that I think the final score was like 5-2 or something like that. And it was just like a huge game. And at the moment, I said to my husband, hey, can we get season tickets? Because that was right when they were building Allianz and they were selling the season tickets. And he said, sure. And like before we even left the stadium, I bought us season tickets.
Yeah.
And so that's how we kind of got hooked and went to a couple of the years at Allianz. And then just this last year, I saw on Twitter, Thunderwall put out, hey, if you'd like to join us on the drums, stop by. Everyone is welcome. And I know everyone's going to be surprised to hear this, but I have actually no drumming experience whatsoever. And I showed up and I was like so hooked because it's kind of cathartic. You can be as loud as possible. And this brand new family of people that were really supportive of, hey, why don't you, be here with us and make some noise.
Yeah, no, it is. That's really cool to hear, and really cool to hear that you're the type of person that just like showed up because like I love soccer, and of course I talk to soccer fans all the time. But I also, if I go to games, like I don't stand there, and people might be surprised, I guess, but I don't go in the supporter section and like scream and do things like I have in the past been that type of fan. But I'm a lot more the type where I'm like I don't want to have to put myself out there, So that's a cool thing that you wanted to do it, and it's the type of place that you're welcome and it becomes a fun thing. Yeah,
right.
A lot of the Thunderwall people are very regular customers of mine at the bar, so shout out to Daniel and Stefan, and there's a bunch of Sterling. There's a bunch of people who do
Sterling, Freecheck. We have a really good crew, and they're very welcoming, and we're always like open to having other people. Like even if you've never drummed before, you can catch the beat, and everyone knows the chants. And even if you don't, just let's be loud and have fun.
Yeah,
and we have the best spot in the whole stadium to see the match, so it's the best of all the worlds. So it's great.
Yeah, very cool. And I know I was just with a young Aurora fan yesterday. One of my friend's kids, a daughter, we got her a personalized Aurora jersey, which she loved because she loves watching supporters really more than even the game. And so I told her, I told Florence, I'm like, if you go to a Minnesota United game, you could probably get to play the drums. Yeah, I can.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a cool thing to build the culture. And then looking to how like you got so invested in that, as I know it is, like because when you're doing that too, you don't even really get to watch the game, right? Like you do, but you don't, you're kind of giving up the fact of being just a casual fan to do that, right? So it is like you're investing in the experience.
Yeah, we are there. We're there for the 19,000 other people to make sure we're heard and they can also participate in the chants, because sometimes you can't really hear the chants from the other side of the stadium, but you can definitely hear the drums, and you can most certainly hear the block that I enjoyed for part of the season that cuts through everything. One of the things I end up doing as soon as I get home usually is end up rewatching the game if it was a good one. So I love it, and I wouldn't trade anything. And it's a really great group. And again, anybody that would like to join us on the Thunderwall this upcoming season in 79 days or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, February 25th. Come on out, guys. Go out to Allianz February 25th. Doesn't it sound good today?
It sounds amazing. Wear gloves.
Look, I'll be excited because guess what? I'll be bartending, baby. So it means a lot. It is that I joke because I'll bartend before games, and of course, so like the team is much more like I'm like that's my like commitment to the supporters is because afterwards I'm too tired to even watch the game sometimes. Talk about how it moved into Ravon Toilette, but also, I mean, before that, I'm curious for you. Obviously, like my brother and my boss are two people who founded the team, so I was like hearing whispers so early. But I'm so curious for people like you're a hardcore fan now. When did you first hear about it? Like, and when did it pull your attention to where you started actually, obviously, going to every game?
Yeah, so it started early in May, and I
Mhm,
started to see things out in Twitter, this new group, and started to
mhm.
put myself in there and just said, "Hey, do you guys have a drummer?" And
Uh,
that was when we were like, "Ooh, we're not even sure we can get those in the stadium." And
yeah, we
so
don't. Right.
worked with them to get the drum approved, get the drum into the stadium.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, now you have your drummer." So that's where
Uh,
we started, and we had the single gold drum, and it was such a different experience, especially looking back at the beginning of the season. It was a lot quieter. There
yeah.
wasn't as many people there at those early matches.
Right.
It was sold out, but it was a lot quieter versus the end of
Yeah.
the season.
Yeah.
So really magical, kind of giving your love into those smaller clubs where you actually do feel like you can make a difference, and you're so
Uh-huh.
close to the pitch, you're so close to those players. They hear everything we say.
Uh-huh.
So it's been a really it's a really precious thing for a lot of us within the group to be a
Yeah.
part of this.
Well, and I was gonna ask that later of the growth as it went, because I think it was all, you would joke when we would do pre-games and stuff, but it was like, we were also pre-professional and trying to do the things we were doing, and covering the team as is was like, this is a new group trying to, and you have to get your stuff together. And like even, the Dark Clouds and everyone who does Wonderwall at Minnesota United, that started like 15 plus years ago. And it started small, it
Mhm.
was like eight dorks and then 12 and then six. So Ravon Gillette by comparison had I would say a lot quicker kind of development, but like being
Oh,
in the, I'm curious for you, like trying to do chants and trying to have enough people there to have to do things together. Like how did that grow over time, and how was that for you?
yeah. So when we started in May, and that first match was around May 26th or something like that, we were only at about 30 members,
Yeah.
and now we're reaching about 130 members.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
the bus from Blackheart helped because
Uh-huh.
that's where we would practice some of those
Yeah.
chants. A lot of the people that were on the bus would end up being in our section, and that's where we would practice some of those
Mhm.
chants. And we kind of just tried to repeat things the first and second half of the chant, for the
Yeah.
different chants, and a lot of them caught on really quickly.
Mhm.
So, and we're going to continue to, add more. We want to add more bangers, as we would refer to them, as these chants that really catch on.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of what a lot of the stuff we're doing during the off season too, is the Discord that we have, that everyone's invited to participate and kind of get on the inside of
Mhm.
Revantalit.
Uh,
uh we have a chance channel that's constantly buzzing with ideas, and maybe not all of them will make it onto the pitch.
they won't, obviously, yeah.
But it's fun because you're like, "Oh, what's that in the tune of?" And a lot of people, and you're like, "Oh, that's the Ramones." And you'll have people saying like, "Who are they?" And we're like,
Yeah,
"What?"
no, that I went to that first. I did go to the first. I think like at Blackheart. Is it Andrew Martin? Who's the guy who would lead on the bus, would be the one, right? It's offensive
David.
loon. David
Yeah.
Martin. Yeah,
Yes.
he.
And they had a chant practice
Yeah,
at Blackheart.
yeah, and
Yes.
it was only a few of us, which was like, that again, I was like, I was not in the mood to just chant in a quiet bar, but I was like, yeah, I'll participate. And so he does a very good job, by the way, like I will say, because like I rode the bus one day, and that is not what I wanted to be doing at 9:30 in the morning. But credit to him, and he got me going, and if I was a fan, it would have been a valuable thing. So credit to that energy, because not all of us can bring it all the time. um
Right.
but it was, yeah, it was cool to be at that and to see, like, yeah, the differences of the song suggestions. Obviously this year it'll be a lot easier because um a lot of the players, like plenty of the players will be back. And so and you'll just have a lot more people to start, so that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, you mentioned a bit of just the the positive kind of energy you get from the group because of some of the values. Kind of peripherally talked about that, but it is something that when the group was founded, that was something that's a part of it, of like being inclusive and advocating for people and our neighbors, on just basic human rights. And I'm curious for you, just how, what that meant to you, or if that was a part of what that means to you, I guess, being now the president of the group and trying to look for ways to like live those values this coming year.
Yeah, so some of our core values include just being inclusive to everyone that wants to participate. It doesn't matter if you have any experience in soccer or any
Uh-huh.
history within supporter groups, you're always welcome to be a part of this. And so a lot of the people that we're pulling into the group have never been a part of a supporter group before. And
Yeah.
so when we're doing these things, we're like, well, we want to have this group meeting. Okay, what do you do in a group meeting? I don't know. I've never actually been to a group meeting. And so it's you kind of run into this like, well, what, and so, but
God
lucky
bless
for
them. God bless the people who haven't been to a group meeting. Wow.
well,
God bless their lives.
for a supporter group,
Yeah, no,
no,
I know.
I've never been to a supporter group
Right.
group meeting.
Right.
But
We're here.
within the community, we are blessed with a lot of people that are willing to help with suggestions, right? And
Yeah.
so it's up to us to kind of hear those suggestions
Mhm.
and understand what would be best for Aurora and what would be best for Revantilid, right? And
Mhm.
keeping those two pieces ahead of everyone. It's they are bigger than the individuals, right?
Mhm.
And so making sure we're, about, getting those like values
Yeah.
in alignment. So it's just making the space open to people that may
Mhm.
not have been a part of this before, and trying to figure out ways to support Aurora when we're on the pitch, and especially when we're not on the pitch, getting
Yeah.
the word out there that, there's this group of athletes out there that win 11-1-1, and they are in fact a Minnesota team, and so all
Yeah.
these people have that whole like, ooh, Minnesota team, like they brought it all the way, and it wasn't for lack of, it was just an amazing experience. And so
Yeah.
making sure people know it, they're out there, and that if
Mhm.
they want to have a really good time, come and sit in our section, section 121. So
Yeah, yeah, 121, that's what I would have friends sitting in it, sending me pictures, making fun of my computer because this computer here is about 24 inches long by 18 inches tall, and so you can see it across the stadium. And so it would be, Bryn or like my sister Andrea would be sitting in that, which that's another example I'll say, because my sister Andrea doesn't care about sports at all, but the thing she like in terms of following it, but has
mhm.
enjoyed going to Loons games, and is now like she was sitting in 121, and it's like, she's not the person watching soccer at 4 a.m. It's different. Everyone has a place there, which is cool. And talk about too, like off the field, the group in terms of like the founders. I know that like people who founded the group wanted inclusivity also in terms of like discrimination and human rights, because it is a thing that is very real right now. And so I'm just curious for you, if you wanted to speak on that at all, where I obviously like, we at Equal Time always try to promote when it was cool. Aurora had a really awesome pride design with like a native design influence, and I think people like that about the team. And so I'm curious, like your thoughts of any comment on that, of just like what that brings as a positive thing to this team and this experience.
Right. It's all about lifting the voices of people that may not have had a voice in the past, right? And kind of putting those people in front and making sure that everyone has that opportunity to be heard. I love that idea of the, bringing and making noted that we're playing on native land, right? Like
Mhm.
this is not, we're lucky to be here, and just being grateful to just this opportunity overall.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, very cool. There's a feeling about being in the around the team, and I'm curious if you like, it just felt different in terms of there was also little things that kind of indicated that, or like you would notice as opposed to being at other games, like hearing chants, it sounded different because there were, I think, both more kids and more women or not so many men, and
Yeah.
so like you would hear that, and it's kind of like it's visceral because you actually noticed it, and it kind of it made it unique in terms of like it was a different experience, like where you'd say somehow it felt louder being there in moments, even though it probably is louder at Allianz, but it felt louder, during the final, like even though it's only 6,000 people.
It is louder because we have an opportunity to make a bigger impact because there's less of us, right? And so it's a lot more special to be a part of a smaller club.
Mhm.
Like even just the whole World Cup final, and there was like 3 billion people watching or
Uh-huh.
whatever. I like the clubs that you're like one of a couple hundred sitting in the stands,
Yeah.
kind of having a good time, even if your club is behind,
Yeah.
And so you want to put your love into something that has a larger impact, and that's what you can do with Revantillet and Aurora,
Mhm.
right? Because they're willing to, help us rise up, and so because
Mhm.
we're always there for them,
Mhm.
regardless of what league they're going to be in or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Very cool. Let's take a break to give an ad read for our sponsor, Pence Homes. This show is brought to you by Pence Homes. Whether you're buying or selling or looking to do some projects in your current home, Nate and Lydia can help you find what you need. Need financing for a basement remodel, looking at a second bath, or even a workspace now that you're working from home? Pence Homes and their preferred lender, Angie Shearer, with Luminate Financing, can help find the right financing tool for you. Go to pencehomes.com to learn more or find them on social media at Pence Homes. So let's talk a little bit about the season last year, because I like a good one of the most fun things was I just rewatched. I mean, that's what the most fun was, watching everything on the field. I watched all the highlights before this interview, and it got me pumped because I just didn't remember, to be honest. Morgan Turner, your goal in the playoffs, I didn't remember that crazy upper 90. There was just a lot of crazy goals. Mayu's penalty was so fun to see. I'm curious for you, when you think back, like obviously when you're running for Revantillet, you're probably like thinking back of all your memories of the season. What popped into your brain the most? Um, yeah, what are your favorite memories from this last year?
oh gosh, I just like thinking now, especially today, I just remember just the warm and sunshine.
It was hot a lot.
It was
Yeah.
very warm a couple times, and so I definitely remember that and just kind of being like, "Wow, I'm full sweat. This is great," and then, like, we had one that was, like, extra hot, and then it started to rain on us, but, like,
Yeah.
those are the kind of
Yeah.
memories that you'll
Yeah.
I think a lot of I mean, obviously, we love our club and all of our players, and I loved having these other clubs come into our environment and
Uh-huh.
just be completely overwhelmed by us.
Yeah.
Especially as you watch some of these away matches, you realize that
Yeah.
they're playing in a high school field with, like, a cow on the other side of the not
Yeah.
that there's anything wrong with that, like, everyone starts somewhere, but
Yeah.
to come into our environment, these other
Mhm.
teams would just kind of like look at us like, holy buckets, look at what you guys going on over
Yeah.
here. And
Yeah.
so getting some reactions from like their goal keeps and stuff like that
Uh-huh.
was just great. I mean, everyone loved how Aurora at the end of every match would come over to our side and shake hands with everyone and high five everyone. That was really
Yeah.
special.
Uh-huh.
Um, Obviously, leading the playoffs were so exciting,
Yeah.
and just having, watching our section grow and get full,
Yeah.
and people understanding and knowing the chance and participating. It was just everything. It was just magical by the end. And again, it was
Mhm.
just so special. We started with a single drum, single
Yeah.
capo. By the end, we were up to like 3 capos, 3
Uh-huh.
drums, and a trombone. It's like
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
overall growing, and
For
we just
the trombones for the tequila song, right? Do they play along? Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and just, and then all the flags, we wanna add more flags next year,
Yeah.
we want to do a tifo for the opener, we
Yeah.
have all these great ideas that we want to
Yeah.
execute.
Yeah. Well, and some of those things are for sale. I know they Ravon Tillette does have some merch, that like sweatshirts and then some flags, I think, that are for sale. So yeah, if you want to be at the game, yeah, repping. I'm wearing my scarf. As you said, I was seeing those highlights thinking of the warm weather too. I've got a scarf on, right. I got my it's now the season that it's good this isn't a summer scarf. We need a real Ravon Tillette. Who are your, if you think of like favorite players, or and it maybe a favorite player, or just, you know, whether it was their celebrations or just like anything like that. I'm curious, you know, who are your favorite players from last year?
I love that celebration where they kind of rolled up the player and held her up like she was a fish, and
Yeah,
the
Mariah Wynn.
super cute, super
Yeah.
cute. Obviously, everyone loves Fuller, and the things that she's done for mental health awareness off the
Yeah.
pitch has made her even a stronger hero in everyone's eyes. We love the players that we ended up getting individual chants around the dentist and
Yeah.
teeth, and
Christelle.
yeah, Christelle, and
Mhm.
how, we could chant that the other team had gingivitis and stuff like that, things that are just really
Look, we're soccer dorks, and we're also just dorks, right?
right,
That's
we are dorks. And the triplets had there was
the rap,
opportunities
yeah.
to the Rap Sisters, and how we would say we would chant how many Rap Sisters are on
Yeah.
the pitch, and we'd say one, and
Oh my god.
but
That sounds like that
sometimes I got
sounds
to
like
say two.
that sounds that sounds like it came from David Martin.
No, I think it was Andy Call, another like super
Andy's
awesome
Andy
capo,
again.
and yeah,
Yeah.
he's just I mean, we're really we've got a really great group. So,
Yeah.
the other board members of Revantilate, I'm just so excited to have a part of the team with Stefan, Seamus, Christy, Jen, and Brooke. Like,
Yeah.
between us, it's like it's gonna take all of us to kind of we put these events together, we put together all this merch, we're gonna do more stuff for match day.
Mhm.
It really does take the whole group to put everything together. So I'm really appreciative of the whole board that was just recently elected.
Yeah, what, and talk about that. I mean, you I'm wondering for you, like you know, I was a political science major, so I've run for student government, you know, and then
Mhm.
I've helped people run for political office, which I find to be, you know, like if it personally would be a nightmare. Like and this is not the level of, you know, running for that, but I'm wondering for you, had you ever run for something before, like in an election?
No. No, absolutely
You
not.
never tried to get on the student council dance committee or something, you know? I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, I'm kind of in charge of things at work, so I'm used
Yeah,
to like corralling cats
right,
at work.
right.
But it was I love the idea of just trying to launch this into something bigger and better.
Mhm.
And then what I say for a lot of the for all the board members, including myself, is one of the things that you want to do within your 2-year term is identify who can be your replacement.
Uh-huh.
Start to look for somebody that, you can transition things over to once you're through your term, or, of course, do another term, whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
We're going to work out our bylaws in the next couple of weeks or whatever.
All
So,
right. All right.
like, we'll get like, all of that, like
I'm
all
realizing,
the
yeah, I'm realizing I need to be an ombudsman. I'm responsible for making sure you're a good president. Gosh, I have so much responsibility being a
I know,
supporter.
right? Like, I do want feedback, and I'll make sure that
Um,
you have my
yeah,
I do, I
I'd like
always
to
do
be.
have
I'd
feedback.
like to be in the ombudsman group, like, and I'll help oversee the board. Yeah, I'll help. You know, keep. Yeah, let's do it.
Keep us compliant.
I'm not doing enough in soccer yet. Yeah, but we'll talk with we will legitimately talk with Ravon Tillette, because um but we joke, I talk a lot about the Blackheart, so apologies if it's too much, but it is like that was a really cool way, having that bus go also
Oh,
like was a cool way for people to become members or like learn about the experience, and it was a cool way to, the tough part of the only drawback of where Aurora plays is where it is, and that it's kind of tough to do post game right there, you know. And so it was cool to go there a couple times after games, and I would get to, after watching the game in the press box, I got to hang out with supporters and like talk
mhm.
about it, and I could tell supporters wanted to hang out and talk about the game. So we will definitely talk about making sure we can plan out and have, equal time. I think we might be focusing a bit more on tailgating in terms of me at the games for equal time. So we'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
There's absolutely opportunity for tailgating in that space. And
we
it
just
with
need a tent. We do need a tent because like those 100 yeah, it was
it
some of
was a
those
right.
there were plenty of days. Look, parents, I love meeting you. I wanted to walk over to tailgating every time, and I would start and I would walk a little of the way, and I was like, not a chance. I can't do this.
You're like, you see the bridge off in the distance, and
Yeah,
it's
and
just
you're
like
like, that's a
miles
whole
away.
yeah. It's a
But
whole ways, but legitimately, it is fun meeting the parents, and it's you can usually tell because they have the personalized jerseys, and so yeah, it is.
oh
You
yeah,
go,
and they are like head to toe. Yeah,
yeah, they're
they're
in the
decked out.
gear.
But
What?
Egan is not that far away. We have to remove that stigma
That's
that
true.
Egan
It's
is
true.
not that far away, and it's
Yeah,
totally
it's
accessible for people to get there, right?
well, and the cool
So
thing is like there is there is the opportunity to tailgate too. I mean, so it's like you can drive, and it's most of the games aren't. It's not like the games are usually at 8 at night. It's like you can go and tailgate, and you can drive home, or you can It's so agreed. It is yeah. I'm a hyper provincial person. So I'm perhaps too local, but no, it isn't. Even I took lifts, and a lift was like $12.
yeah,
It's so
yeah.
close that so agreed. Yeah, we'll remove that. Let's try and fight that from the lexicon. But when you talk to your other the folks running for the board, obviously it's a cool
Mhm.
thing just for people being able to step up and like you just to be creating structures. But how much you mentioned a couple things. You mentioned like doing tifo or other things. What have you talked with the other like new members? And obviously it's not just the board members, it's all the members, but like how much conversation has there been about like this is what people are excited about on building next year?
So one of the things that we did over the last couple of months is we had those ice cream socials
Oh
in
yeah,
October, and those were super rad. There was 3 Thursdays that we met at different ice cream places, and
yeah,
it slowly continued to grow with numbers with every time. And that was again just an opportunity for anybody that wanted to kind of come out, talk about soccer or talk about anything you want.
uh,
But mostly people wanted to talk about Revantolet. They wanted to talk about Aurora. They wanted to talk about the
yeah,
match day, and they wanted to find out how they could get involved. A lot of
yeah,
people want to get involved with match day, and which is that's perfect. That's exactly when we need the most amount of volunteers. We need
yeah.
people that want to play the drums, people that want to lead chants and wave the
Mhm.
flags and help with tifo and all of that. Like that's our biggest space where we need volunteers.
Yeah,
Then we also need volunteers for merch. Like
yeah,
people that help, come up with designs, people that help with distribution and like
yeah,
kind of make decisions. And so we have all these people that are like, hey, I want to come hang out. And so ice cream socials were fantastic. And then we had a Friendsgiving, which was kind
oh
of
yeah,
our end of season get together. And then again, a huge turnout. We had about 50 people, which
cool.
was great. And we had people that brought kids too. And so it's
Yeah,
like, we want to make that open. Like, this is a kid friendly
yeah,
environment. We're going to keep things really positive. We're going to keep
right,
things really clean. We can
right.
keep things clean and positive and still have a rad time.
Yeah,
And so, and we want to make sure everyone knows that kids are welcome in this section. Kids are welcome to grab a flag, and we're going to
yeah,
try to get a drum that can be dedicated to kids that can just want to like do whatever
mhm,
they want on a drum. Like,
yeah,
hey, look at that. It's all targeting those kind of like, just those future supporters. And like there's
yeah,
even an idea, like, I don't know, it doesn't matter if I'm saying this, like spoiling it, but having a Revantolet kid size scarf. Like how fun
yeah,
wouldn't that be
yeah,
so fun?
yeah,
So, doing everything like that,
yeah,
making sure that the future generation, because we see a lot of times I'll bring in those girls soccer
uh-huh,
teams.
uh-huh,
And a lot of times they come over and we're like, heck yeah, come on over and, grab a flag and
uh-huh.
be down in front with us.
Yeah, that is one of the coolest parts. I hadn't thought about that specifically I was talking about, you know, how it sounds different because there are you can tell there's kids by then how many people in the stadium are kids. It sounds like lighter voice. And but
Mhm.
I didn't think about as a supporter part, that was one of the coolest things about being at those games. Like I would be on the field when they did the autograph alley thing, right?
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
there were so many people getting autographs and adults too, by the way, but a lot of
Yeah,
kids, but like
lot of
why
kids.
not? But it would be hundreds of people and they were so pumped and it was such a cool way. That was the last thing I would do before I would leave. And it made me so happy because it was like, wow. And you would see the way the girls were looking at the women because it's like, look, and full credit, there's a lot of women playing high level soccer in Minnesota, a lot of WPSL teams, there's going to be UPSL teams, but there's something different because when the girl sees that happening there, it looks like, whoa, it looks like this person's like a superhero, you know? And
Right.
so you could see the level of reaction from kids. And that is, yeah, like I remember thinking, like, wow, like, I mean, it'll be cool in 10 years that we'll be able to get some picture of a girl getting an autograph who's now on
Yes,
the team because I bet that'll happen, right?
absolutely. Like,
Or a
this
ball
is
girl.
we're the
Right.
size that feels achievable, right? Like,
Yeah.
not everyone's going to be on the US soccer team,
Yeah.
and so but with this group, you know, this is where you can start, and this is or not where you start, but this
Right.
is can be a goal, right? And
Take
it's
your step
something that
up,
can
yeah, to the next level.
exactly.
Mhm.
So, it feels achievable, and that's why, you know, it's so easy to love the smaller clubs and kind of this grassroots, and to be part of the inaugural season is just it's been incredible.
Yeah,
It's
well, and exciting
really
to know
humble.
well, and it's just so exciting to know, like, the next year will be so fun because we have things to be attached to, you know, like, from doing some equal time work, I knew, you know, maybe I knew of half the players by name, but, like, I didn't have any attachment to it, you know, and so it'll just be that much more fun for all of us, this next year because you know, the bulk of the team, I think it from what we've been hearing, seems like they'll be back, and then we'll see some cool new additions, so yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta have full rap back. We have to have
Oh,
the
that would be so great to
we
have
need to,
full
yeah.
wrap. Yeah. That's
They're
you're
the
making me
yeah,
hungry
that's I
now.
mean, and they hadn't even played college soccer yet when they were playing this year. Like they
Oh,
were going into freshman year, and so now they've played a year of D1. So like that's crazy. Like they were some of you know like that'll be really fun to see.
right.
Um, talk about this fall. It was cool. Like people would ask because they were look attendances for Aurora would beat the some NWSL games a lot of weeks towards the end because they were getting
A lot of
60
them.
6,000
Mhm.
plus, and that's a really cool thing, and it should only help other um, summer league teams draw more fans because I think they see the proof in the investment in it. When you
Mhm.
saw it actually confirmed, though, like this fall, they said we have had discussions, like you know, so NWSL, USL Super League. These were tangible discussions, and it's not happening, you know, confirmed for now, but it's something we're looking at in the future. What was your reaction when you saw something like that as a supporter?
Well, as part of Revantalit, I'll be honest, a little panic, you know? So you're just like, "Oh, boy," because that's kind of like the big leagues, right?
Uh huh.
And you kind of enjoy the amateur level where you can like, if we're make mistakes, that's okay, you know? And
Uh
so
huh.
it's so exciting, you know, based on the front office that we have with the
Uh huh.
team and really the group that we're building too. It would be fantastic to get to that next level because I know that they could do it. I know they could do really well at it too.
Hmm.
And but we're also excited just to, you know, stay where we're at.
Yeah.
Um, Kick some serious booty next year too. And this
Uh-huh.
upcoming season, it's going to start pretty soon. And kind of just
Mhm.
continue to prove ourselves as a force within the league we're in. But
Yeah.
regardless of what league we're in, Revantalit is there from
Mhm.
the beginning to the end, and we'll be cheering as loud as possible,
Mhm.
whatever the scoreboard says.
Yeah.
So,
No, agreed. There is something special about what the games have been like at TCO, even though it's like,
yeah,
you know, it's been nice when they've scrubbed the paint and when they haven't been able to, that's a you know, it's like, oh, you'd wish some things would be perfect, but overall, the environment overall has been really, really cool. And it's a great the scale of it and it's amazing. And I have to say, Will family. they have the Wilfs, for people who don't know, have an unbelievable private deck above one side of the stadium, above their office, above like, and their office has a crazy view too. And I don't
Okay.
care even if they want to go, but they know someone who would like to use that to watch the game. So I'm just, if anybody on here ever talks to the, well, yeah, sure, of course, Mel. But even for their friends, it's like basically it's the biggest, coolest Eagles nest view of the stadium. And
Oh,
so
this is
anyway, I look, I'm surprised the janitor hasn't learned that they can go out during that time.
yeah.
But it's
Food? Like, I would like some food too.
it's an unbelievable. It's cool. You'll notice now the next time you're in, but it's really really wild. Yeah. Um,
Right. Some sort of
so I saw on Twitter, Mel, you said you hadn't drummed before. Now you're playing. I mean, it's not a drum set you've been playing. It's a more literal situation. But you said you signed up for drum lessons. I
I
want to know.
did.
You signed up to get drum set lessons.
Oh, well, I'm going to no, we're gonna start at the basics. I'm gonna try to learn how to do a drum roll. Like, I'm gonna try to
Whoa.
oh, I
I
know.
I think that's more than basics because you don't even. I mean, a roll is I feel like intimidating. I can play a drum set. I can't roll snare.
Right, that's what I wanna and so I'm actually
Okay.
taking lessons. His name is Todd Trainer, he's the drummer from Shellac. It's
Shout out
like
to Shellac.
drum people know him as a very good drummer, and
Okay.
so, yeah, I'm gonna start that. I'm gonna start but with everything that I do, I'm somewhat immersive, so once I start to do
Okay.
something, then I kinda wanna be the best I can possibly be, and
Okay.
so
Yeah.
it started with, like, "Hey, I'll get a drum and I'll practice," and, Minneapolis City, they have their corner kick beat is the best. I love
Okay.
that beat. And so
Okay.
practicing that beat is one thing that I've been doing, and so now I'm signed up for these lessons, and it kind of steamrolled into like, okay, now how do I get into a band? Like, how can I start? Like, I do. I want to get into a
I
band.
don't know if it's the same type of drumming, to be honest, Mel, but I love
I know
the.
it's not. I know it's not at all. But how
But you
fun
just
would
want
it
to,
be?
in addition, I'm sorry, I'm putting you in a box. You're not just a soccer supporter. You want to be in a band in addition. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Like,
My bad.
I don't know. This is totally nerdy, but
Sure.
like an Interpol tribute band, like a little
Okay.
bit.
Look, I've got time, Mel. I've got time.
Right? What do you play?
I mean, I play bad drums and I can sing. Yeah.
Oh, good. And so,
So
yeah, are you familiar with the band Interpol? Like, what?
so I would be more familiar if I was like 5 years older, but I think it's a gen.
Oh,
Is Interpol a? No, I'm just saying I'm just saying. I'm not saying anything. That's like it's like Pearl Jam for like. Is that like a Pearl Jam, you know, era?
no, it's like a New York
I
City. We're gonna take this offline. Are we able to cut? No, it's
look.
okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I implied you were old, Mel. But no, yeah, I love Interpol. So yeah, we can start a band. What are your plans for the holiday, Mel? You gonna travel in the snow?
No, I am not. I'm staying in town. Actually, that's true. Not true. I am going up north for the beginning of next week.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but no, yeah, we'll stay in the city for a while at least and
Mhm.
celebrate with friends and family. And then as we go into January, we're trying to put together some events similar to the ice cream social,
Okay.
where we get some people to gather at coffee shops and try to support like
Mhm.
people I know kind of try to do that dry January thing. So we're going to try
Yeah.
to put some things together to support that.
Very
And
cool.
then February, we're going to do group tickets to see the roller derby.
Yeah.
Um, and then March, we're going to go see the hockey, the women's
Whitecaps.
hockey team,
Yeah.
Whitecaps.
Whitecaps. Yeah.
And then by April, it's chant practice again at Blackheart.
Yeah.
So get ready for that and get ready to be loud in the bar.
Yeah.
And then by May, it's back to the season again.
Yeah.
So we'll be ready.
Yeah.
We will be
No, I
ready.
look. That's really. That is really cool to hear that you're putting those things together because it is also one. It's like these are slow times. Like these are the dark time. January and February are the dark days. So I'm excited to actually try to attend some of those. And also, I was gonna before you said trying to respect giant. I was gonna say yeah, let's have some of the the ice cream things at Blackheart, but I
Yeah.
fully respect Dry January as well because that's a great thing, and I will definitely try to make at least one of the socials, and it sounds like great fun. Yeah, and I love
Absolutely.
that you're doing something like easily accessible, because it can, you know, it's in it like you like people seem so intense at what they do of being a supporter group, and sometimes it's like it can be broy, right? We can say that. We can say
Yeah,
that
it
supporters
can
groups
be.
can be
It
broy.
can
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it's nice to have a feeling separate from that, you know,
Right,
about
we're trying not to be broy at all, and in fact,
sure.
we no gatekeeping, no judgment, everyone is welcome.
Yeah.
We wanna hear everyone's ideas, we want people anybody that wants to pick something up to help, they're welcome to do so, and just more importantly, it's just we're an outlet, right? We're a group of people that you can consider friends and family that if you wanna come hang out with us, like those ice cream socials, they were just nice, right? They were
Mhm.
just nice to have a place to go and kind of maybe get away from your coworkers, get away from your family,
Yeah.
and enjoy some people,
Yeah.
that all, really love Aurora.
Yeah. No, it's real. I'm excited to see what we can do to. I mean, it's the cool thing about everything that happened with Aurora this year is it really is like a tide that rise has risen everything. It gave Equal Time more followers. It created this Revantelet came from this. We saw like, you know, Soda Soccer and Northern Lights, like other local, all the people who'd be covering the team with me, MJ and Bridget and everybody. Like that was it.
Mhm.
Everybody has gotten something cool out of the team, which is just really exciting. So yeah, it'll be, and I think one of the things that'll be fun too, like with Revantelet, and I'll do a better job by being an active member, is also helping it spill over into all the fall like college soccer that we have like
Mhm.
women playing, and like knowing that like a lot of these Aurora players you can follow them, so that, you know, trying to bridge that too of like, because the season is so short and we're done, and then, you know, we gotta wait, so we'll
Yeah.
um all of the game in Minnesota is growing because of the stuff you're doing. So awesome,
That's
Mel.
great.
Thank you for
Thank you
joining us.
so much. Thank you so much, Mark. It was really great to chat with you today.
Yeah, awesome. And people go out and get your gear like Mel has.
Yes.
I might have to find some. I've got my scarf, but
Oh, I keep doing it the wrong way.
I do it every, yeah, something about the camera. Yeah, this is, look, the pre-professional. We're doing our work to become professional, Mel. So thank
We are, and we're doing our very best, and if it's not the best, it's still okay.
you. Yeah,
So,
that's
yes.
the Mark Pravratsky story.
Awesome. So, yeah, check out our Twitter. We have our links to our, Square site out there. We have scarves. People need to get that inaugural year scarf, become a member, get on our
Yeah.
Discord, and, yeah, all are welcome.
Yeah.
Thank
I can, yeah, you can join at any time. I only became a member. I'm technically kind of a bandwagon supporter of Aurora in terms
No.
of formal
No,
nature because
you don't have to call yourself that. You are a member. You have just
I
as big a voice as everyone else that's been a member,
what
and
an
you get that
elected
6
official.
star.
What a politician, Mel. What
Oh,
a politician.
God. I'm just like
I hope, look, and I hope the original Revantelet scarf that my brother bought me, hope the Cooligans still have it. Shout out to
well, I'm
Alexis.
sure they yeah, I hope they do, 'cause that first scarf is sick, and we don't have that many left, so people need to get on it and,
We're
because one's coming.
Well, and we're Minnesota goodbying, but I do have to say this because that's fine, and there's no rules. But I was going to ask you this now that it came up because it was so exciting. Like the Cooligans would hype Aurora. They'd wear the gear on their
Mhm.
show. They came to MLS All Star, and they were at the bar, and like
They
I
were
got
at
to
Blackheart, yeah,
give them the
exactly.
scarf. And so, like, how cool would it be? Like in year two, I'm anticipating people like that. You know, whether it be people like Just Women's Sports or like other cool outlets. Like, how cool is like I'm anticipating we're going to see an increase in sites like that. How exciting is it? Like the attention is going to be real in year
Yeah,
two. I
the
feel like.
visibility is a lot stronger, right? And so that's why we kind of want to step it up and make sure that
Yeah,
we're doing the right things. And again, just making sure that everyone has their voices heard and making sure everyone knows, join us, right? We are
yeah,
fun. We have a good time. There's no stress and your voice is louder when you're in a smaller group. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very cool to see. Section 121. It's
yes.
going to be tougher to find a spot now, but guess what? You'll just have to grow it out into
Yep.
sections. near and far, yeah. Or grab that grassy knoll under the scoreboard or something. Yeah, that'll be exciting to see. Awesome, Mel. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so much.
joining us. We're excited to see Minnesota Aurora in year 2. I am and I'm just blessed to have my elected president join us today. So thank you so much.